Alright, welcome to part 2. I think the sound should be working now. So part 2 of false frequency and scalar. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Now. Alright, they can hear me now. And I fixed the microphone settings. Alright, we can hear you. Thank you, Nana. Alright, so I don't know if you guys heard this part, but using the NFT aspect of frequency in terms of you're not creating the frequency, you're tuning into it. So art in general, what you can do with a passionate art piece, you can literally find the golden ratio within many, literally 90% of art pieces. You can find the golden ratio within there. And what emanates that golden ratio? What emanates that frequency? What is it? It's, that essence, that frequency that loves to co-create. That's what you're doing. You're co-creating. You are co-creating with the natural law, that is. You are co-creating with the all that is and its creation that is available to you in the natural world. So let's use the NFT aspect. So you have this NFT, and if you look around, you see all different colors, but within the NFT there's different linings or different angles. There's different intentions within there. Intention in itself is a frequency. The intention. And that's what these co-creations, I like to say co-creations, are. All the way down to an art piece like even food or stuff of that nature. Because did you create the food? Did you create the plant? In that sense, did you create the air that gave life to the plant? Did you create the water that gave life to the plant? All the way down to water. Water is just a recycled technology that turns into gas, gives us air, moisturizes the air that we breathe. It's available for us to drink, to create with it in many different ways, to clean with it. But you didn't create it, did you? No. So in terms of the saying, exactly, it came from the nothingness. In terms of the saying, raising your vibration. Again, we're tuning into vibrations and frequency. We're not raising anything. If anything, we're amplifying our focus onto that frequency, onto that vibratory resonance, onto that a specific energy. There is no raising of the vibrations. There is only tuning into the vibrations that is. We came onto this plane of existence in a frequency polluted, thriving world. Because you can take any object out there in the world, in the material world, find its frequency, and literally turn it into nothing. Well, not in nothing. If anything, you'll just turn it into really tiny particles that you can even phase through, that you can do a lot with that if you find a certain tune to a specific object, a specific even person. And we're not, I truly believe we may actually do have that technology behind closed doors. The biggest conundrum when it comes to finding a frequency of a person is just like your aura, right? You don't have one particular set of aura, just like you've seen the scalar experiment we've been doing for the next, I think there's 20 more days left. And every day, you're seeing his aura change um, on a dramatic level in terms of the colors. There's many variations of that color within there. So, as above, so below, all the way down to the trillions of cells that we have. Every single cell is vibrating at a particular frequency. You know how much hardware, how much machinery you need in today's technological world to find a person's frequency? You're going to need a specific machinery that can play well past the trillion mark in terms of frequencies altogether. Now, when they say the human body vibrates at a specific frequency or whatever, what they're really talking about is your skin. Now, the skin itself has a frequency. Your eyes has its own frequency. Your nose has its own frequency. Your hair has its own frequency. Look at the Book of Rife. There's reasons why, hair growth is this particular set of frequencies, and it's totally different from healing the eyes with this particular set of frequencies. If you don't believe in the all that is that you cannot see, at least believe in the math. Because whatever religion you have, within the math and numbers within the sacred geometric natural world that we live in, the Creator is behind there scribbling away. And it's up to us to play in the sense of co-creating, whether that be physical art, whether that be, again, food, whether that be experiences, all the way down to the experience in itself is a frequency. If you want to talk about time travel, you know what time travel really is? That day when, if time travel will be out there in the public at a specific point in time in the military, whatever the case may be, and mark my words, CERN will be the facility. CERN, this isn't conspiracy. The fact that they already been doing black holes should make it obvious that they are really close to exposing what time travel really is. And in the frequency aspect of time travel, all it is you're tuning into, one day we'll get the technology, or maybe we already have, you're tuning into the frequency of the wind at a particular time. You're tuning into the velocity of the wind at a particular time. You're tuning into everyone in that exact moment in time. You know, just let's say, look at this. Let's look at the whole pandemic itself as a frequency, right? All of our minds are in tune with that, and we know for a fact, all right, it's going on in terms of what they call the pandemic, because every single news station is emanating it, right? All over the world. So let's say I'm in the 1960s and a time traveler came back and said, hey, this and this happened in 2020, 2021. If the technology exists, this particular technology, all you would really need is to get the temperature itself is a frequency in itself. That's a key factor. The temperature, the velocity. What was the masses, all of us, in tune to? So when you go through the vortex or whatever it is to get to that particular time, that's a focal key point of that particular frequency. So time travel, so to speak, could pin themselves into in the physical and express into the three-dimensional within that space. Which book? They already broke the time loop. The quantum leaps. Yeah, quantum leaps. That's literally what it is. I just want to show some love in that space. What is your opinion about sun gazing around 12 noon? You know, your eyes, all the way down to your pores, are technically, your pores are literally eyes. You can look at it that way. Your whole body is technically sun gazing, right? So, regardless, the more you have a less acidic body, and like I can look in the sun right now, and it's like what? It's like 3 something. I'm at that point where I can just gaze into the sun without blinking. It doesn't hurt me at all because I tuned into the frequency of, making a relationship with the sun, tuning into what benefits the sun has to offer beyond physical as well, in terms of this whole light spectrum that we live in. Yes, Tina, it is true, to answer your question. Exactly, we are all time traveling in the sense. So to add on to that, that's exactly what we're doing with the scalar in the sense. I didn't know this until my friend John did it himself. So if you guys don't know who Bashar is, we basically asked Bashar what particular frequencies, if scalar energy disrupts space and time, what particular frequencies, what method of resonance can we step through the door into a quote-unquote portal, in a sense. And he gave us a particular frequencies, and to do it within 15-second intervals going back and forth. I still can't talk about it because I signed an NDA. I can't talk about it until the 23rd of October. So that's when I might post a little bit on here in the public. But Breath Family already saw the whole video. That's the main topic of this Sunday, because I want everyone in Breath Family to watch that video and then maybe come up with other questions and stuff like that. But going back into the time traveling aspect, so my friend John, he did it with his Rife machine, and with the Rife machine, he was asking a bunch of questions in the sense of, he told me like it worked. It definitely worked, but he did it only within 15 minutes. For us, we literally have that thing going 24/7, 365, including 49 other frequencies just blasting onto the scalar. Like anyone who already submitted their photos into the scalar right now, within the past 4 days, you should have felt a enormous shift as we speak. And I bet you in the long run, compared to most people, it'll be interesting to see how you age. Depending how long I even have your pictures on there, but I will I will have it on there for a very, very long time. But what John said, John was doing, he was asking questions in the sense of, after he was done, he felt something different. And this is a person who is literally close to 60, and the guy looks like he's in his 40s, which is wild. But he's been doing the therapies of frequencies for over 7 years. 7 years. So he knows if something, definitely shifted in terms of what he's feeling, things of that nature. And he said he stood there and he definitely felt something different, but he couldn't put words onto it. I still can't put words onto it. Something definitely feels different. In a good sense, I don't feel lethargic. I don't feel tired. I do feel energized, but it's a weird, here we go, using the word weird. It's a different type of feeling that honestly I've never really felt before, and I really don't know how to put into words whatsoever. And one of the main questions he asked, is time going faster? The answer was no. Is time going slower? The answer was also no. So there could only be one point of setting in the sense of his frequency. It's not that the outside world around you. As they say, even in the Bible, all the way into the Tao's, all the way to the Muslim religion, the master doesn't change the environment. The master changes himself, right? That's what our human resonance is doing to our experiences. And that in itself is definitely, quote unquote, time travel, if you want to put it there. So for me, time definitely feels still in the sense of my feeling, my body. And as time goes on, and what's really happening is we're literally tuning in more, keyword more, you're tuning in more into the frequency of your experiences, in the sense of, again, what you do frequently literally becomes your frequency. If you know someone that is going through an unprecedented amount of depression, whether that be financial, whether that be emotional, whatever the case may be, I bet you, if they can't wrap their head around meditation, if they can't wrap their head around prayer, get them to play at least a subliminal breathwork music for as long as possible and tell them to do it on repeat for 30 days straight. And I bet you, whatever their situation is, they will at least attract opportunity within their lives. And it's a beautiful thing witnessing that. And I have some literally on my YouTube. You don't have to buy anything, whatever, but really go on my YouTube and even look at the comments. Look at the comments for themselves. The energy at this point, it literally speaks for itself. I am just helping people tune into the energy. I'm not shifting anyone's frequency. No. What I'm doing is I'm helping guide to help people tune into particular frequencies to help them, whatever their beliefs are in terms of religion. Let's even quickly talk about religion. And I want to put it to you like this. No matter what you believe in, no matter what you worship or who you worship, this vessel, this body, was created by whoever you think or whatever you think, right? This was a gift to or from whatever you think created this whole reality, right? So, in my opinion, one of the easiest ways to worship or give reverence or give gratitude for life that is to tune into a frequency of healing as much as possible, giving gratitude that you actually have a body, in the sense, giving gratitude that you have life in that sense. That's one of the most simplest ways. If you are someone who's confused, going back and forth in terms of New Age or religion, I can at least tell you this. This vessel that you have is definitely a gift from creation itself. And the easiest way to honor creation is to acknowledge healing within this body and do the best that you can. I feel like some people needed to hear this message right now, because on Instagram itself you hear a lot of religions going after New Age, and then you hear a lot of New Age people, I guess, going after religion, and it's going back and forth, and I'm there like, okay. And it's wild because actually a lot of Christians actually do follow my channels. A lot of Muslims do follow my channel. A lot of Buddhists do follow my channel. And most religions that you can spit out to me, I have at least been invited at least once to do some type of breath work or at least commune with these type of people, because the breath is a powerful tool regardless. And they like the fact that I guess one of the main consensus that I'm getting is that I don't say breathe in this entity or breathe in that entity and stuff like that. You know, in terms of the entities or deities that we know, in my opinion, I feel like they are a medium, right? And then there's the all that is. Why don't we just focus on the all that is? That's just me. And that's why I truly believe why people of different faiths gravitate towards me and they like how I do things in that sense. So, yeah, any questions? I like this one. So true. The radio doesn't appear different, but whenever it's tuned to determines what sound vibrations come out of it. I love that one. Thank you for sharing that, Levitus. Barefoot, how long do you sun gaze? The max time I've ever sun gazed was about 3 hours. 3 hours of sun gazing. And I do not recommend that for people who are just getting into it. Hell no. No. Take your time in the sense of start off 15 seconds and then slowly gravitate and make your move going up the ladder in that way. Exactly. The breath has no religion, color, or race. Much love. I'm here reading questions here. Normal is the word I choose to avoid rather than weird. Yeah, because there is no such thing as normal. Normal is not what you think it is, because whatever you think is normal can always change, you know. Society has taught us that in terms of normal. Can you share what crystal or device is on your first eye? Not relevant, just curious. Oh, you're talking about the it's just copper. It's a tensor ring. It's just twisted copper. Someone goes, don't sun gaze at peak hours. Sunset and sunrise is ideal to start. I agree. I agree to that. Alright, more questions here. Someone goes, what is my age? That's a great question. And I always answer beyond the dogmatic idea of age. I truly believe, not believe, but I feel that truly cannot be measured in terms of age. It can't. No one truly knows how old we all are in that sense. Going back to the whole time and space, right? Going back to the whole time travel aspect, right? If you really want to dive into age, that's why they say when they look at your blood, when they look at certain factors in your body, they say you're actually this chronological age. You're this age on paper, but chronologically, based on your blood, the pace that you're healing in your body, you could have a total different age. Like when I did blood tests, because my family wanted me to, living on liquids, right? The lady, the blood toxicologist came back and was like, yeah, this kid is like he's 12 years old. So, honestly, I don't like diving too much on age. And you'd be surprised about all the different age groups I've helped, coached. Man. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Yeah, biological versus chronological age. Yeah, the biological age is totally different than the chronological age of everyone. Everyone. Someone could be eating really crappy foods right now, and they'd be 30 years old, but if they go do blood tests done, they might be in their 50s or something. Dehydration, that's another epidemic. Energy just changes form, it never dies. Instead of age, how many experiences have you had? trillions, way beyond trillions. I don't know. What a interesting question. Think about it. If we're measuring seconds, that's having an experience. Could you survive a world disaster? Oof, that's a great one. Honestly, I'm with a lot of confidence right now. Yes, I could by far, hands down, survive a world disaster. I think honestly we're going through one. If you really want to count this, yeah, I'm familiar with Bomar's work. Does anyone want to go live right now and tap into everything I said so far in terms of frequency? And it's not in the sense of it's not in the sense of shifting. I'm sorry, not in the sense of raising your vibration. It's a sense of tuning into vibrations. Anyone? Oh, she wants to go live. Okay. Solofa. Hope I'm saying your name right. You want to go live? All right, go live. This is a great test to see if this microphone works. Hello there.
Hi. It's so nice to meet you finally. How are
Likewise.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, do you want to add on to the topic? Everything I've spoken so far, and yeah, I'm curious.
I actually think, well, I think that it's interesting that you were talking about tuning into radio frequencies because I just did a live a few minutes ago and I literally said the same thing.
Mm. Sync.
So, yeah, it's to me the when you're putting out the same vibrations, you just naturally pick up the same frequencies, which is why you and I found each other because we were already tuned to the same vibration. And so the universe connected us without there was no there was no there was no effort in me connecting to you. Okay. So when you're tuned in, you just automatically tune in to the thing that is meant for you. And it's a clear connection and it just goes through and it resonates. It's like looking through the glass and it's not cloudy. It's the same thing. And the water in the glass, it only gets cloudy if there's contaminants in the ice. Like if the water is contaminated, that's why it's cloudy. So it's all about whether or not you're clear and contaminated as to what you can tune into and what's blocking you, in my personal experience.
That's beautiful. That's man. Oof. I don't know. I don't know what to add on top of that, but yeah, I like how you were saying contaminated in the sense of, you know, when I get invited to certain religious groups, when I'm in those circles, um, I love to also remind people in the sense of the aspect of food, in terms of how is food being delivered to your body. That plays a huge factor in terms of frequency in itself. If you truly want to tune into a specific frequency in itself, right? Whether
Yes.
yeah, whether that be whatever that person worships or believes, if this channel, this vessel is clogged in all types of different ways, it's going to be harder to focus, right? Because there's other energies within the body that's giving focus somewhere else in terms of detoxing whatever that toxic substance you may have in the body, and not giving full attention to whatever you're worshiping or whatever you're focusing on, in the sense of that frequency you want to increase into your life and have more experiences with. And that's why within all the different types of religions, you find stuff like fasting, right? And that helps give focus and The aspect of connecting with your breath is another one. But also the state of gratitude itself is also a form of, if you want to call it prayer, or a meditative aspect of it in that sense. Because if everything is created from the one source or the all that is, and there may be different fragments of it, if you want to definitely, if you want to bring religion in there, with all due respect to those religions out there, sure, there may be different fractions of coming from the source that is, but regardless, no matter how you look at it, there's a whole
You know
chain that,
what? I'll
that
just
goes
say
up to it.
this on
Yeah,
religion.
yeah,
Oh, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Shit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Okay.
can hear you.
So I have like poor reception here where I'm sitting. Um, what I would like to say, because I got a download while you were talking about that, the thing about the different religions is that they're all actually fractals. They're not fractions because they're basically all based off of the same teachings. They just have different dogmatic principles around what you're supposed to do in order to be, able to receive. But the thing is that when it's not even, it's about the frequency, but it's about magnetics too, because not only do you have to be clear, but you have to have the positive and the negative charge, because if you batteries don't work without the positive and the negative charge. That's why people who are like, I can only, don't, I can't look at that stuff. It's too hard. It's too painful. Well, if you don't hit the bottom, you can't push off the ground to get back to the top. And you just float around in the water and you're like, woo, I'm a seahorse. And it's magical. And there's nothing wrong with being a magical seahorse. But then you don't get the full effect of being able to push off and traject yourself through the water. It's propulsion, it's magnetics, it's positive, it's having a force to push off against, to repel you in the direction that you want to go. It's all of it. And with plant consciousness, which is what I started in, originally I started in air and breath and movement, but and sun, because it's, as a photographer, it's always about light. But the thing that I realized in working with false light, because originally I was only a natural light photographer, and I was challenged. I showed my work to someone when I got a job in a rental department when I very first started a long, long time ago. And, in a different lifetime, in a different portal jump. And he looked at my work and he was like, you have a lot to learn. And when you've had a camera in your hand for 20 years already and you know what you're doing, and someone tells you you don't know what you're doing, then you go, oh, what do you mean I don't know what I'm doing? So that resistance challenged me to dive deeper into what I actually knew. So instead of bouncing off that level and going back at the top and being like, no, I hit the bottom, I'm going up, I dove deeper. And I went further into what I could actually discover about what I knew and what I didn't know. And the deeper I went, the more I uncovered and the more I learned. And after working with people who were, are you there? Okay, my connection went bad.
Very
So
good.
after working with people who were just getting paid to do their jobs, and they weren't being real because they were too worried about their appearances or how people were going to receive them, and it's a very insecure environment. But I had to hold my own because I had to know what I was doing, and I couldn't let other people push me around on the job. And I was also in control of the assets. So I had to have a certain, I had to hold my own power and not let other people push me around on set, which was, I learned this all on my own without even realizing what I was doing. And then now people are talking about frequencies, but I learned about frequencies just simply through working with, the headsets and being tuned in different channels with the people I was working with, because everyone's on a different channel on their walkie talkies. and we're all working as a team together, but there's someone in your other ear going, I have a secret message, and all of a sudden someone you're talking to is just like, I gotta go, and they just walk away, and you can't take it personally because you're at work and they have to go do something. And so when people do that to you in real life, it's not personal. They got called to go do something else. So if you want to get butthurt and be a bitch because someone pushed you away or called you in, it's about the ebb and the flow. And with plant consciousness, like for me, I was more about the food because being connected to the earth and where you grow, like I drove to all my jobs because I had a lot of gear to bring, and it was easier for me to drive than to fly and rent and constantly, you know, it was like, oh, I'll just put everything I need in the car and go. And then I got to drive by all of the farmland where everything is grown. And when you see that it's all grown in the same place, but they bring it to a warehouse and then they divide it up, and this person gets this much and then they put their brand on it, and this person gets this much and they put their brand on it. But it's all grown in the same fucking field. Okay? So unless you know the field where your food is coming from, they're all buying, you're all buying the same stuff. And when you grow it yourself, the plants will actually grow specifically for your own nutrients, what your body needs, because you're in proximity of it. That's what plant consciousness is. So the plants will grow you what you need. And if you lick the seeds before you put them in the ground, that's why Johnny Appleseed was spitting seeds out of a straw, because the seeds were in his mouth and he spit them in the ground through a tube. And Coco Pelli wasn't playing a flute. He was spitting seeds. So it looks like frequency in music, but it's also the frequency in the music of your own genetic cells merging with the seeds that you're planting. So it's all interconnected. And if anybody tries to tell you that you're separate from anything outside of source, tell them to get fucked, because they're wrong. And all of these different fractions instead of fractals are the only things that actually just create more division and keep you looking at someone else and going, do you have the answer? Do you know? It's like the duck that gets run over, and the mother crosses the road and the baby duck's left behind, and it's like, are you my mom? Are you my mom? You know, nobody knows, because they're cut off from Mother Earth. Mother Earth is your mother. It's not about Daddy Time. Father Time doesn't know shit. Father Time is a liar. Mother Earth has all the records. There you go. That's what I got.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And yeah, what you were saying about the seeds and the licking, like DNA, like literally DNA essence, and
They have to combine.
yeah, it's
And
very, very powerful.
that's why the plants that are being grown by machines don't have the nutrients in it. They're being grown in soil that doesn't have any nutrients, but it's a machine that's touching the seed. So the seed doesn't have the connection with the human source. So it doesn't know what to grow. It's just growing for the machine. It's not growing for you. It's not growing for the humans. It's growing for the machines. And that's why everyone is so easily able to tune into the AI, because they're being fed by food that's being grown by machines rather than humans, which is why I preach farmers markets no matter where you go.
No matter where you
Because
go.
I used to, whenever I traveled for work, when I was driving, I would find my way to farmers markets as I was going. I had a radar for it. I'd see one in my rearview mirror, and I'd be like, oh, look, a sea of white tents, and I'd turn around and I would just go back.
Oh, wow.
Honestly, some of the people that have met me and follow me, that's the only reason that they know me, is because they randomly met me at a farmer's market somewhere, and I had my art, and I was like, hey, you want to talk about plants and vegetables? Like that meme where people are like, do you want to talk about plants? Hi. That's me. You want to talk about vegetables?
Oh.
And it's the same with you, and air and breath and the sun. But it's all about the sun. You are a complicated house plant with emotions. And when you tune into your emotions, you have the secrets to everything, because they control you by your emotions, which is why they're
chaos outside of you that is just meant to get you pissed off and sucked in and feeding off of the tornado and point.
Oh, I think we've lost her. Oh, we had such a great thing going. Okay. I'm gonna tag her after this. Ah, yeah, she went away. Ah. All right, someone else is going to hop in here live. Hello there.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. How's it going?
Good, and you? Where are you calling from?
Canada, BC, British Columbia.
Canada. Did you get a chance to hear the whole conversation?
Yeah, I've been here for about past like 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you want to add on to the topic on frequency and in the sense of we're not raising the frequency, we're tuning into it in that sense?
Yeah, I think something to tune into is like the spirit of truth and relying on a pure source instead of outside wisdom. You have the mental acuity to accumulate knowledge by just sitting still. But to unlock this power, I feel like you have to, what it comes down to is, like you said, is diet. You know what I'm saying? Diet. And a lot of people are too much toxins, and these toxins in their body cause irritability, and they can't focus straight. And it resonated when you brought up food withdrawal. Because some people, they wake up in the morning, they have a pit in their stomach. And they get lightheaded. They get lightheaded when they stand up, for example. Things like this. And it's because they're not absorbing oxygen properly. And they need food to create the blood flow instead of oxygen just being the blood flow. And this makes me think that society can be cut off in a second. And people are going to be withdrawn. They're going to start to have withdrawals instead of being tuned in, like you said. They're not tuned in. So they're actually at a withdrawal. So water could be cut off. Crops could stop growing. Stuff like this could happen. And people are going to actually go a little crazy, you know. And I think it's important that we can go 6 days without eating. And I think it's good that we have like some type of magic elixir that gives us some type of the nutrients we need, you know. And the day that this, I don't know what kingdom it is, this kingdom ends and people can't get what they're used to, I think that's when the Messiah will come forth and bring a message, a new way of living. And it's fault, you know, a new way of living. Because right now people are going to run out of gas, I feel like. We're running out of gas instead of the light isn't being brightened.
Yeah, they're actually, you know, there are governments telling farmers to actually like burn certain crops and they're getting paid for it. And there's tons of videos all around Instagram sharing that. So even someone asked me, "Hey, are you ready for the apocalypse?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." You know, breath and being on liquids for this long has prepared me for the worst to come, I guess. But more importantly, the mental aspect of it, in terms of how are you harmonizing, how are you giving gratitude towards your environment, and using that, going back to the aspect of stillness, right? People forget that the whole world is only made up of 10% cities, and there's 90% rural world out there. No matter what city you are in, even New York, you can literally take a 1 hour train going upstate New York and you'll be closer to mountains, literally. And have that time for yourself. I've gotten so many DMs like that, and I tell people like, hey, you can literally take a train, go here, and you're right there at Sam's Point, and have a beautiful view into the mountains for yourself, and take that time in to recharge, whatever the case may be. But getting tools like these, and just the information, and more than the information, I'm really all about the what are we doing with the information. I see um, so many Instagram accounts that talk about what they did in ancient times with this technology, that technology. And I'm like, hey, let's do it now. Let's integrate it.
Mhm.
What are we doing just staring around in the past for? What can we do now? And that's so important whenever you come across information, and when you do that, when you implement it in your daily life, that's when it starts to become wisdom, and it starts to teach you way beyond what a book can teach you. It can start to teach you way beyond than a teacher or a coach can even teach you at that point.
Um, you're a cool dude. I just really wanted to show you like my Buddha hat. When I was about 2 years ago, I went on like I don't know what to call it. Like in layman's terms, I basically went on a little psychotic episode because I just had this heightened senses, and I remember I went on a 6-day fast, and I roamed the streets, and I got my spirit name Seeker Wanderer, where I literally wander and I gather wisdom, whether it's talking to the homeless people, because my neighborhood, I live in the homeless capital of Canada. So just understanding all these lifetimes. And when we talk about time traveling, I think we can learn from others, learn other lifetimes, and add it to our own life experience, and we multiply. As a people, as a singular person, we multiply by learning from other people's lifetimes. And that's seeing other people's inner Buddha, and our inner Buddha comes out. It's no longer about opinion or perspective. It's just a sublime truth. And during the 6 days, I really just found myself. And I remember I could see this whole hat was encased with light. And it was just amazing that you're talking about the cloth in clothing. Because I remember I was in the cold because of Canada's winter, and I remember wearing I wore 6 wool sweaters because it was the winter time, and I was just doing my Tomo breath in the cold, and I just went on just trying to find myself. And anyways, man, thanks for listening.
No problem, no problem. So yeah, thank you for hopping on, and thank you for sharing. I'm gonna end the live here, and I want to say thank you all for sharing the breath. Peace.
Greetings, family. It's Gloria. I just wanted to give an update on the scalar wave machine intentions, and yeah. Originally, I did set an intention for my 6-year-old sister um, regarding self confidence and self esteem. And recently, I picked her up from the bus stop, and I was just talking to her about like how school, and she brought up that at art she was sitting all by herself, but then she took a pause and she said, well, she stated like more room for me, and that she actually perceived it as something good, as something to be grateful for. And she's 6 years old, so usually that's not super common for me, at least. I haven't seen that to be common amongst that age group. And I was just stunned by her self assurance and her perception of abundance. And yeah, I'm just really grateful for all these grand opportunities that we're sharing together and insights. And yeah, the scalar wave breath healing has been super powerful, amongst my family. And I do have a label printer. I've been printing out stickers, just putting it all over the house. And yeah, I'm just really grateful. I hope all y'all have a wonderful day, a breathful day, and a blessed day. And yeah, or night. We're international, so yeah, I'm just really grateful. Bye bye.
Into you with the breath, man. That was fantastic. I had not utilized that before. I could feel that immediately. That was spectacular.
For sure.
And then one more thing, were you putting your logo on the scalar wave last night?
Yep.
Dude, so I'm wearing your shirt and I
Oh,
wore it to
Sam, I
bed.
totally forgot people are wearing.
Yeah. And I wore it to bed last night and I forgot about it. And I woke up at 3 a.m, freaking like vibrating. And I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then it hit me that you were doing it last night, but I wasn't sure that you were. Yo, it was an experience. I almost had to take the shirt off because I was literally vibrating at 3 a.m. for like, I don't, until I went back to sleep. For like, it was lengthy and it was intense. It was super freaking intense. So I wanted to tell you that to report in on that bit of information. So there you